bank account from, was that from last year?
Yes.
141?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have one
So
more
we still
year.
got,
It's good for 3 years total.
Good, last year, this year, next year.
And that was part of health insurance.
Correct.
I didn't realize that account was in that account.
Yes, health insurance adjustment from the 1920 school year. So which we did not use last year, we intend to use this year, and put it in for the original 10% of it, but we took it out.
gotcha, okay. And I went back and looked and I think, so I talked to that guy Jeff from that, state aid guy I was telling you about. So he told me that, you know, the governor added $326 million additional revenue to the budget from last year for school aid. And then the $155 million in adjustment aid, which was that portion of the adjustment aid on the 6-year phase out. So he said the 170K came from the new revenue and the 80K came from the adjustment aid adjustment. So, and I think that those percentages should help us in the future kind of figure out how much is due based upon S2. And obviously it's a crapshoot to figure out what the actual budget's gonna be, so, but yeah, that adjustment aid change was really helpful, so. Especially, how much do you remember the number was, it 750?
Something like around there, yeah. They
Almost
always-
$1 million that we'll never get back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, it's more than a million, we'll never get back.
That was the past
Yeah, oh,
10
yeah.
years, right?
Yeah, they owe us a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah.
One more note, I was talking about this, you were supposed to remind Laura. So I feel very confident with this contract that we'll get the project done, but I can't say that that coronavirus thing will mess something up. It's the only thing I feel is the wild card there. I mean, who knows what happens with that, but other than that, this contract is solid and we feel very confident about it being done on time. The Riverview Annex. Any other questions from the board?
Just a follow-up question to Mike's, the 141,000, dollar amount that we decided not to take on this year. When, was it something that you decided recently, or?
It was something that I recommended to Marriage, and I found out we got more money.
Okay.
And rather than, because in the interim, between the time the Marriage did her budget presentation when I wasn't here, to today, we got our final numbers. So rather than taking all, I know that the money is meant for tax years, that's the entire reason for it, local tax years. If we took the 141,000, there would be no tax years at all for that extra money. I'm not saying that, I'm saying that I'm confident we don't need it. If we're gonna take it, this would be the year, but we still feel very confident we're okay without the 141.
Do you remember last time the tax impact was gonna be approximately $100, now it's gonna be $95.
So from a taxpayer's perspective, that's a good thing, that we're not taking the 141. We still have access to it next year. And, overall, yeah, okay,
That was our thought process. Now, that was, something that Damaris and I thought about, and we felt confident that I told everybody that this is a challenging year, obviously, right? We even say in that memo that I know it's a challenging year, but we can get by without it, and it's good that it's there if we need it for the following year. I also felt kind of read everybody's mind that you guys would say that, so I just kind of head you off to the past.
I was gonna say, I appreciate it, because I know we've had this discussion in the past, we could take it or we could hold off on it. I know the board often has said, let's put it in tax relief if we possibly can, or at least not take it, let's put it that way. If we don't need it, let's not take it.
And I also remember like the hour-plus long conversation about it last year, so I was like, let me just, maybe it'll only be like 5 minutes. So I'm really happy with it, to be honest, I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the fact that we're able to get this thing going. I'm happy with the fact that we were able to get a few more dollars from the state, even though it's just money that they owe us anyway, but it's good that we're getting somewhere. There is some traction down there. And I think we all should take a little bit of credit for that, because we kind of got involved a little bit, and not overly, we definitely weren't militant or anything, but we weren't like some of those other districts that were missing like 50% or whatever. We were missing some of it. So I think I can be proud of this budget. I'm proud of the projects, and just You know, we have a blue ribbon school district, and that's what we're gonna provide the public, the blue ribbon experience.
So, for the benefit of the public, as well as, I guess, for the board, we will be then voting on the budget today, the preliminary budget today. And we will also be voting on the actual bids for the Riverview Manors and the Valley View athletic fields.
All three things are on the agenda tonight. The administration's hoping to get it passed tonight, so we get started on the project rather than wait any longer on it.
And so if it is approved today, when could the contractors essentially start?
So there's a Gantt chart that tells you, but it looks like they would mobilize toward the end of this month.
One has an estimate,
So the dominoes that have to fall is that the DOE has to approve, and then we can notify the contractors.
Once the board approves the preliminary budget, we will give them the go-ahead. Because then you're approving the project and the funding of the project. Without both of those though, we don't wanna go forward. We want the funding and the project approved.
They have items on the, set for the month.
The Gantt chart's hard to read unless you get it on a big screen, you can see the whole thing. That abstract I gave you is, I just cut and pasted it from the left side that has like all of them listed. And I did review that with the contractor, he's he's happy about our project because they do a lot of schoolwork. And most schoolwork can't start until June 30th or so. And the fact that ours can start something like May 40th, they're excited about that. To get it going. Good?
Does anybody have other questions? No? Okay. Is that the end of your comments?
If you wanna talk, just hold it down. That is mine, yeah.
Okay.
If either of you wanna come up, just hold that button down for a second and it'll come on. We can get you on the camera down here. So I'm getting so good now, I don't even need this all the time.
So, do you mind, Dr. Phillips, if we kind of go out of order and open up public comments so that you have questions about this or something else? Come on
This is
up.
my time.
This is your time.
What's up, everyone?
Thank you. I'm sorry, we're opening public comments at 8:05. Please, leave your name and address and sign in. Thank you.
My name is Brian Bergen, 54 Charlotte Road in Denville. And I'll get to sign in and go over it here. All right, so I came tonight, because I was made aware that some of you, may be concerned, or have some concerns, over some comments I've said recently about school funding and school aid. So I wanted to come, because I am your representative, and answer any questions you have about my opinion on it, number one, offer you some insight that you may not have. So basically, I'm here to be an open book for you. It's kind of less of me testifying and more, interactive thing is what my plan was anyway. So I'll tell you what sparked all this discussion, was that I made some comments, that I believe very firmly that I think that the state of New Jersey just needs to fully fund the school funding formula and stop messing around. I mean, right now, we're very happy about what you got this year, I think that's great, but the reality is you don't have nearly what you're entitled to. And every year, we play these shell games of moving money around, but we never actually commit to just doing the job. And I think it's a problem. And that's kind of what I said, that's how I feel. And you know what, we can make arguments about the school funding formula and its validity and whether or not it's effective, but we're never gonna know that until we get there in the first place and fully fund the thing. Also, I mean, I have a laundry list of projects here, that we're doing in the state of New Jersey that I find pretty ludicrous. Especially when you guys aren't getting your full funding. We're sending $3 million, I think, this year to the Turtleback Zoo. The governor's gonna let people go to college for free when there's a clear pathway to free education. It's called the National Guard, the US Army. Anybody can sign up and go to school for free. So we're spending a lot of money on a lot of things and not putting it in your pocket. And I apologize. So I'm pretty vocal about it. This is why I'm excited to be here in front of you. I also think, from your perspective, this is one of the things I would kind of caution you about when you're looking at all these numbers of district to district. I have the benefit of having the Office of Legislative Services kind of at my call up and have them generate the data that I need to do these assessments. And by the way, if you ever need any of that, I'm happy to make the calls on your behalf to get whatever information you need. You know, what I've always, just throughout life, it's very difficult to walk in another man or woman's shoes. So, you here, it's possible that you may look at other districts that are getting cuts, and hear me beat the drum bad, they shouldn't be getting cuts, and possibly say, well, they were overfunded in the first place, they deserve to be cut. But again, it's difficult to walk in somebody else's shoes. You know, if we were to look, I know, because I've been to these budget meetings before, if we were to look at Denville's enrollment over time, we would see a decrease, right? And now you're at a review annex, because there's a small uptick, or there will be nothing, it might not be small. But it's not near the levels it was in the past at certain points. So me just having those couple points of data might say, why are you spending $700,000 on a review annex? Now I know, because I've been with you guys, that you had all the trailers and it wasn't substandard education because of that. So the reality is you kind of had to downsize first to get your arms around it, and then just going back and to do it the right way. I know that because I know you and what you've been through. There's similar stories in all these different places. You know, I talked to Superintendent Roxbury, Randolph, nobody's sitting on this big nest egg of cash that they're hoarding, or, I mean, at least I hope not, and surely they're not, but they're not those kinds of people, they're you. They're out there trying to make the best they can of everybody. So that's why it really infuriates me, honestly, when we take away $1.5 to $2 million from a school district in a year. It bothers me. Almost as much as it bothers me that you're not getting your full school funding. So that's kind of my pitch. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I got some information. I spent a lot of time digging in a bunch of different stuff about adequacy budgets, and got enough information here to answer probably any question you have, if you have it for me. Anybody?
Hey, Brian, first of all, thanks for coming, we really appreciate it, and I appreciate you hitting on the governor for full funding, because, you know, he shortened us about $1.3 billion to all the school districts.
Yep.
What about adjustment aid? What's your feeling on adjustment aid?
See,
So, and just for the public, can I just explain what adjustment aid for the public that are watching the video too, that may not know? So, in 2008, when the School Funding Reform Act was signed, there was a feeling that districts didn't want to be hurt. So if the new formula was going to give you less money, they didn't want to hurt those districts. To do that, they put in what was called adjustment aid, which was a hold harmless. You can't lose money versus, so if the new formula meant you were going to lose money, you weren't going to lose it. That never went away for 10 years. So that's how people think about lower funding. You're right, if you look, there's two different pieces. If you fund the whole bucket, then actually $1.3 billion actually wouldn't give us the entire, we still wouldn't get all our money because of adjustment aid. Because some of that $1.2 million has to go to adjustment aid to pay those districts to hold them harmless. So just wondering what your thoughts are on adjustment aid, because that's really and there's that and growth caps, but growth caps don't affect us as much because we haven't seen large scale growth. But adjustment aid was a big piece of S too, so just wondering what you're feeling on that.
yeah, I mean, my feeling on that is just, we gotta take these districts down at a moderate pace. I mean, some of the degrees that we're doing right now is just ludicrous. And you're right, the adjustment aid was there for so long. You know, I mean, we're talking, one of the towns that starts with an R, so I'll get myself in trouble, I won't say which one. But they were steady for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, at about $12 million and change. You know, 7 years. And then, you know, they're not just throwing it in the backyard in the duffel bag, they're putting it to programs and making adjustments, and they're doing lots of great stuff with it. And then we're taking $2 million off the clip from my own, that's right. You know, we have to fully fund, here's what if I was king for a day tomorrow, all right, what I would do is I would take some of the $4 billion or so that we've grown the budget, state budget in the past 4 years, 3 years, and I would fully fund everybody, okay? Then I would start to take down the people with adjustment aid slowly and reasonably and measured, not at $1.5 or $2 million a year.
So what's slowly to you in your, out of curiosity?
Well, you know, it would be district dependent. I don't know. I don't know what a town like Randolph or Roxbury, Washington Township, is gonna have to endure by a cut that big. So theoretically, a $2 million budget might not be, a $2 million budget, a cut might not be terrible. You know, I don't know, I mean, here, a $700,000 cut when you don't add Riverview Annex, is that the end of your world? Probably not. Is a $1 million cut the end of your world? It really just depends. We're coming to these things through numbers on paper, which is generally the wrong way to do business, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is, it's kind of a zero-sum game, right? So, yeah, if it was an unlimited amount of money, you could continue to fund the adjustment aid and give them beyond what the formula says. But if the formula is constitutional, I believe in the formula, and, I mean, it was, in my opinion, a 6-year phase-in over to reduce the aid. Certain districts certain school districts locally were receiving over 200% or more of what their funding was. Denville's been shorted, and I apologize, the 750 was the last year that that was like 18. We have been shorted from 2010 to 2018, $6.9 million. With $6.9 million, we can go buy a building. We never got it. We never got it from the state. So we've been shorted for all that time, when districts are getting 200% of their funding.
This is my point, I guess, about trying not to walk in other men's shoes. Because you're right, that argument, we can make that argument, and I'm totally with it. People could also make the argument that there are school districts that don't include, that are $10 million over what the state calculates as your adequacy budget. That is a formula that says this is the budget that, based on your school district, you should be using to fund your school district. Denville spends $10 million a year more than that. So people could theoretically say, okay, well then, let me look at the formula this way. You, Denville, are spending $10 million a year more than you need. You don't need my state funding money anyway. So why are you trying that? So again, that's my point with these numbers. That we can take them from one point or another, and we can attack any different school district on any different thing. And that's why, in my opinion, the most important, and this doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. Like I said, include the budget, the state budget is $40 billion this year. It's $35 billion not too long ago. That's $5 billion going to the Turtleback Zoo, you know, $10 million going to Nick Platt and Steve Platt, whatever they're called, who are doing the consolidation studies. I mean, there's a lot of money out there. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game, I guess is my point.
But the district you just named got $42 million in excess funding. They were 200% funded by the state. So if you take their budget, and if you say you got $12 million, divide that in half, that's $6 million, over 7 years, that's $42 million.
Again, you're assuming that they don't need that $12 million.
I didn't say they don't need it.
So
I mean, you can give it however you want. I mean, and to say that it was a surprise to anybody is actually shocking. The formula is available. It was a state formula. The SIFR formula is available. It's like saying when I go do my taxes in May, or sorry, in April, hopefully I do in April, not May. When I do my taxes in April, saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know I owed money. Well, I could have figured that out the whole year.
right, but
It's available.
You guys also just got 100% more than you thought you were gonna get.
So we should just be happy?
No.
You're short $6.9 million,
No,
right?
I'm saying it's not as predictable as you make it out to be.
No, it is predictable, yeah, of course, the state, first of all, that 122 is not what we expected. We conservatively, extremely conservatively put in the budget, because we've been told before, we get cut. So we'd rather give 122 and know we got more, because then we can go say, we're not gonna take that 141 we're gonna take. So that's exactly how we do it, because of the, you know, the lack of continuity that we've gotten from the state. Fortunately, the last 2 years have been pretty continuous because they've been following S2. So S2's been really good for us. I can say as a district, S2 is appreciated because it's gonna get us to fair funding. As a taxpayer, keeping adjustment aid and not getting rid of it and just fully overfunding school budget just to keep other districts whole, as a taxpayer, not as a member of this board, is completely unfair. That's just my opinion.
No, again, I understand that, but I want you to go back, I wanna take you back to the adequacy formula argument. The state
That was not, sorry to interrupt, but that was actually unconstitutional. That was why it wasn't done in that.
I'm just saying, there are two formulas we're talking about. Adequacy funding formula, which says, I'm picking on Denville's here, which says Denville's spending $10 million more a year than it has to, okay? Then there's a school funding formula, which says Denville's not getting enough, but another school district spending $10 million more than it has to. So we can pick a formula and then pick on the people. My point is, you guys should be getting as much as we can possibly give you through the school funding formula, and nobody should have to cut so deep in a given year that it impacts their ability to educate the kids. That's my point.
Yeah, I would just end with saying, I happen to disagree if you've been overfunded for as many years as these districts have. That's just my opinion, is that, listen, if you could figure out a way to do it over a certain longer period of time or whatever, but as a taxpayer, I'm paying money into taxes, and I've got a formula that's, you're right, was not fair until 2 years ago. And really still isn't fair, it won't be fair for another 4 years, 5 years, until we get to that point of getting rid of adjustment aid growth tax, because that's really what has made the formula unfair. Just like your quote was, we've got a flawed formula, that was the flaw in the formula in my opinion. And if you can find something else, I'd be happy to sit down and look at it. And I agree with you, adequacy is certainly something that's out there, but that's how the formula was based upon. It's based upon adequacy. You take base costs, you take AR costs, LEP costs, combined costs, and your special education census, and it gets to adequacy. So it's just, I hear you, I understand. I think there's other things to look at. You know, equalization, valuation of property values, income, there's a couple of things to figure out. What's your local fair share? I think local fair share is an interesting place to look at and see if that's done correctly. But at the end of the day, the formula's been around for 12 years and hasn't been fought, it has been fought in court but not won. I think it's a pretty fair formula, just those two areas seem to be areas that, from my perspective, would make sense.
And just to be clear, adequacy is a part of the formula that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Adequacy minus fair share equals equalization. It's the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I have one item. Yes, sir. It's been on the, I guess, the back burner or back in the refrigerator from Senator Sweeney.
Okay.
Is the consolidations, as you mentioned, they're funding consolidation, merger studies.
Yep.
And, the few that I've seen about my property taxes going down. And nobody has, shown me a pro forma of how a merger is gonna, save money. You know, maybe you cut a superintendent and a BA, and you merge a couple of districts together. I know how hard these people work, the hours they put in, and also now once you consolidate school districts, you lose control. You see like Morris Hills Regional District with a bunch of people up there, but, you have that provincialism on the board there because you have people from Morton and Rockaway Borough, Rockaway Township, and all this Denville. So, I don't see any cost benefit to the merger, and I'm really concerned about losing control of how our town education is run.
I completely agree with you, and I'll say for the record 100 times over, I'll face the camera, that $10 million from the czars is a complete waste of money. Put it in school funding, give you guys the money. It's a waste of money,
I think we're gonna outsource that to some of their cronies, no doubt.
no doubt. Yep.
Brian, let's switch gears for a sec. You mentioned if you have your druthers, you'd like us to be all fully funded, right?
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't strike me that we're gonna get there by cutting $3 million from internal Act 2 necessarily.
Sorry.
You agreed, but I mean, you're looking at municipal aid being flat funded, extraordinary aid being flat funded, direct tax rebates being flat funded. So I guess my question is without big redistribution or big tax increase, where would that possibly come from?
I'm holding a list of earmarks in the 2020 budget, a total of $89 million. This is just rudimentary first look stuff. Also, you gotta think, like I said, the budget has grown in 3 years by $5 billion, okay? We weren't that bad off 3 years ago. So that $5 billion is going to things that ostensibly we didn't have, right? It's there, it's available to fully fund the school funding. It's a choice not to fund this. It can be funded. $5 billion is a lot of cash.
I understand, but I don't think.
And the income tax is supposed to go for property tax relief, okay? And the best way to relieve property tax is to fully fund the schools, to fund the formula. It's a fact. Even the governor said it. He said every dollar in school aid is a dollar of property tax relief. Assuming, people aren't having popcorn machines for every dollar they get in schools, okay? But I have faith in every school board, and a dollar the schools as a dollar property tax relief. And, you know, so we can just put the money in and we get profit. Take the income tax and put the whole income tax in the school funding board. That's a bill that's up right now, by the way.
So Brian, what do you think fully funding means? How much additional revenue?
How much additional?
Revenue needs to go, how much additional money has to go into the state, the school aid?
I don't have it's billion or so, over.
1.2, 1.3,
Something like
somewhere
that,
there.
$1 billion, yeah.
So actually, you would need another 640 million to cover the adjustment aid, that's the problem. There's $640 million in adjustment aid, so you'd actually have to raise another 640, find it somewhere to keep those districts whole. So that's my problem, is as a taxpayer, these districts have been overfunded, and if you went to 1.2 billion, we still wouldn't get all our money because of adjustment aid. So you'd have to go to 1.85 or 1.95 billion extra to get our aid, and then as a taxpayer, I would say, well, why are we giving extra money to those districts or towns over there? Doesn't make sense, because we don't wanna hurt them. Tough call.
Yeah, you know, there's no easy decisions up there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
look,
listen here, you guys.
you take all the districts that aren't getting the full funded, everything that they need, and fund them. That
So
will
what does that do for a district that's overfunded?
But you keep saying overfunded.
Has adjustment aid.
Has adjustment. If we're going too long, by the way, stop me. I can talk all night about this stuff. Look, adjustment has to be taken down over time, and it depends on the school district, there has to be some analysis, not just a mathematical equation that's gonna take them down, because as you know, like the example I just gave you guys about you have less students now than you had 10 years ago. It's a fact, okay? And people could point at you and nickel and dime you for the fact that you even have a budget that's higher now than 10 years ago. I mean, we can nitpick the crap out of it, but they don't understand the circumstances that you live in. Just like you and I don't maybe understand another school district. So unless we're gonna have conversations with superintendents, and they're all smart superintendents, I mean, BAs, I haven't talked to one that I thought was not smart yet. And we have to have conversations with them and do it the right way so as not to impact the taxpayer. Because, you know, it's just unfair when those drastic cuts happen. It was unfair when it happened here in 2011, when Christie came in and just whacked the school funding. It was ridiculous and unfair.
How do you feel about the fact that they would allow the districts to raise their tax rate to make up for the lost aid?
No.
Because really, the local taxpayers aren't paying their fair share, that's basically what it comes down to, according to the formula, you can.
In all fairness, some are and some aren't. So there's two districts in Ryan's District 25 that are 200+% funded and are over local fair share. So they're just spending a lot. They're spending $5,000 more per student than we are, for instance, right? So some are and some aren't. So you're right, some are not at local fair share according to the state. You're right.
So what do you think about that? Like, to me, what I say about this is, I understand if I was one of those superintendents, I'd be upset about it, but I'd have a hard time not thinking it's fair. That's the thing that would get past me. Like, I get it, that it's kind of stinks, you're in a bad position, you're losing money. But how do you argue it's not fair though? Like, how, you got all this money before you weren't supposed to get, and now they're just saying, hey, you weren't supposed to get it. We're not even gonna take it all away or ask you for the money back, we're just gonna slowly take it away. That's like the big question, is like, let them raise tax a little more. I know it's not popular, obviously, as a legislature,
Well, I'm not really,
you know what I mean? That's not a popular thing to say, hey, just let them raise taxes.
yeah, no, I get that, you know, again, this is a problem created, not necessarily by the schools. You can argue that it's just, you can argue, we can make this argument, right? If we're all living in a bubble, we're all perfect, we can say, if it was me, 10 years ago, I would have recognized I had $10 million extra a year, and I just wouldn't spend it. I would have been the Boy Scout, put it in the bank, and wait, come on. We gotta be realistic here about how the world works. And you've got an opportunity to do good by your district and put programs in place. And then when you put programs in place, there's recurring costs that come, and it's a cycle sometimes you can't get out of. Not that quick anyway, not with dramatic impact.
Sure.
Right? It's tough. And there's no evil people in this.
Right.
So the reality is we owe it to our people, the taxpayers, the kids, not to just say, it's not fair that you guys got all this money for so long, we're gonna whack you down to this now. We gotta do it in a way that doesn't impact those kids dramatically. Because like, I mean, the example again, it's unforeseen consequences. You know, you put a program in place, you hire a teacher, you do all this, and then the current cost, it creeps up and creeps up. You know, in terms of, do I think people should be able to blow through the cap? No. I think the state is creating this problem right now. The state created this problem by keeping it flat funded for so long, you know? And, to have anybody's property taxes go up by 10, 20% because of this, there's gotta be a better way, as people, you know? Trying to be a better way.
I find it very odd, like, if you just look at this on face value, how can they pass the school funding reform act of 2008 and just not do it?
I don't know.
But that's the law, is to do that, but they just, we don't do it.
Well, they did, in all fairness, they did, but they had two pieces in it that the adjustment made was big one. It was like, hey, we got a formula, and then there was a bunch of districts that were like, hold on, and a bunch of legislators that were like, my districts are gonna get hurt, so don't hurt them. But you might as well throw the formula out the window, because, you know, you had districts that lost enrollment, so therefore lost enrollment should have lost aid. We were we lost enrollment and still should have gotten aid. But my point being that there was districts that were just kept whole forever. $6.4 billion over 10 years in adjustment aid. $6.4 billion. It's unreal how much adjustment aid.
You talk about tough decisions, I mean, that was a lack of will on that, at that time, right? I mean, that was a complete lack of will.
I agree.
Right? I mean, you know, I'm saying you had nothing to do with it.
No, not yet.
But
You can blame me for it.
Right, right.
I could retroactively blame. Yeah, but like, I believe, but honestly, I looked at enrollment too, just so you guys know, and enrollment, when you level it out for the size of the districts, like, Randolph, Danville, his enrollment has gone down, I think going back 10-something years, gone down about 12%, Randolph, 12%, Roxbury, 15%, so even though their numbers of enrollment dropped are a lot bigger, they're proportionally, it wasn't that big, and what Roxbury would say, or one of the other ones is, okay, so I lost some students, but that's not like I think I got 7 buildings, so it takes a lot of students to cut ahead.
Right, to cut like one whole building, it's the same price.
Right, so, and that's another thing you have to take into account too, which the formulas sometimes don't quite get right. What if you're in Washington Township, you got all this rural country, schools all over, you have to have more schools so that they can be closer located, you know, all these intangible things that we really have to dive into, in my opinion, to be good stewards of, you know, of helping out our district. That's fine with it. And I understand the same thing for you guys, there's other way, you know, it's funny, honestly, that in a district where you're getting more money, arguing, I think that's great, because it shows that we all care so much about this and about education as a whole. I think it's actually a really, really good thing. You know, that's why I'm so excited to come and do it. Not many legislators can come here, you know, do this. Probably none.
Yeah, I think the hard part of what you're saying, Ryan, is just, I'm just trying to think about it. There's 400 and some odd districts, and you're right, everyone's gonna have their own story, their own scenario, their own circumstances. I don't know if you could, the hard part for you and the rest of the legislator is, how do we figure out a formula that's as fair as possible across all of them? Because you can't have a different formula for every single 400 and some odd districts in the state. So it is tough, I hear you, I just don't know I don't know how you would do that, where you would, you're right, everybody's got their own scenarios, and I don't know if you could physically come up with a way that's gonna be personalized to every district.
No, it's kind of tough. I mean, maybe as an idea, if I was gonna cut $5 million from you guys, which I never will, I might come to Steve and say, look, you gotta cut $5 million. Come up with a plan, get together with all the other smart people, give us a timeline and a plan, and you can get there. We'll see if we can live with it. You know? I took a lot of your time, but I just love being here hanging out with you.
I'm well spent.
Anything else for me?
I just wanna say, first of all, echo the sentiments from board members previously. Thank you for coming, but I'm glad to hear, that if your dreams came true and we were all fully funded across the state tomorrow, that you would still look to decrease adjustment aid over whatever time frame. Just keep in mind that if that didn't happen, Denville and other currently underfunded districts, per pupil costs would be different than the districts that are currently overfunded, which isn't fair.
I agree. We gotta look at everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you very
I'm on
much.
everybody's side, you know, and stand behind all you and Pat, trying to.
We we've got the building across the street getting ready for all those affordable housing units coming in town, so.
Well, why didn't you say?
I didn't know, I just made a comment.
All right, I can stop that, too, that's a whole other discussion.
I know it is, thank you, Brian, we really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you running some of those bills by me. I'm always here for a resource if you have any questions about how to do that.
Yeah, because I wanna make sure that I get your feedback, and that's anything that's gonna impact you guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Appreciate it.
You guys, how many things came out after, I'm like, why didn't they just ask a couple?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Well, this is long.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Are there any other public comments at this time?
Brian, wore me out.
Oh, sorry.
That's the game.
You didn't surpass our 45-minute time limit, so thank you.
Oh, okay, good.
Go to your own end, you got somebody's hands.
Hey, edit that video, make me look better.
Okay, so we are gonna close the public comment section at 8:33 and continue on with our agenda to assistant superintendent.
School minors and registered kindergarten. Same clothes as superintendent's work.
Thank you, Dr. Pels.
175.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our current class size for K is
179.
very, very close. Thank you. Business administrator comments.
Just one comment. The Denville Board of Education was awarded the Excellence Finance, Reporting Award from the International New Jersey ASCO. And that is for the school year, fiscal year 2019. This is the first year that we have done this application, and we were awarded this year.
That's great.
And we should be receiving a perpetual plaque in 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, congratulations to you, Damaris, and to the administrative team for, it's a significant accomplishment. I'm sorry, where did you say the talk was gonna go?
Where's it gonna go?
Yeah. Wherever you guys.
It was, it'll be in the newspaper too. It's nice.
It's a process that, I had to take this year, filling out a very lengthy application, explaining to the, international, New Jersey School ASCO, our finances. I had to explain on the application, submit the 2018-19 audit report. They reviewed the entire report, made some comments on it, very minor, comments. And once they felt that the report was financially stable and it was in good condition, they replied to us and we were good.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
And congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, Damaris, and now we are on to old business, no action to be taken. Mr. Kim, would you mind giving us that?
Sure, I'd be happy to. During our next meeting, we will be, voting on for approval, the treasurer of the school money and board secretary reports for February 2020, as well as the education reports listed there, which is the student enrollment, health office report, and HIT case BB 1920-08, as well as the minutes for the working session and the executive session for February 10th, and the regular session and executive session for February.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. And now on to new business, there is action to be taken. Mr. Anderson, would you mind moving us through personnel?
Not at all. If there are no objections, I'd like to move under A, items 1 through 4, asking you to pay special attention to the addendum, which adds under item 1, F and G.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just like to wish Ms. Frost a happy retirement, thank her for her service to the district, and then welcome Mary Ann Milner as the new hire, so we vote affirmatively on that.
Dr. Collins was just telling me that Mrs. Frost has been with the district for 18 years, so thank you for providing with us. Anything else? Okay, roll call please.
Mr. King?
Yes. like to move the resolutions under finance. The big one is number 1, which happens to be the 2020-21 school district budget, which includes, the general fund of $39.9 million.
Sorry,
35, thank you, forgive me. The tentative budget, which includes $35.9 million, or with a special revenue fund of $328,000, totaling $36,231,109. Where taxes for general funds will be $32.1 million, and adjustment for enrollments for $390,558. There will also be a resolution to withdraw from maintenance reserve $146,000 for the assistant funding the building repairs and equipment district-wide. There will also be a withdrawal for $1.348 million for capital reserves. And that will be used for district-wide capital projects, as well as school staff and board member travel expenses, a number of other potential expenses as listed here on the agenda. And also towards the back, the maximum annual expenditure for professional services for the auditor of $31,650,000, attorney of $85,000, and the architect of $5,000. And then the second resolution will be the approval of the TUT, or the uncommon threat, to provide a registered behavior technician for Liberty School from March 3rd to June 22nd, not to exceed $21,900.
I'll second it.
questions, comments, concerns? Samara, am I right, in looking at the amount that we're currently, voting on being withdrawn from capital reserve, that'll be the total cost of the Valley View Field project, and that, when we are reimbursed by the town, that we will be able to utilize those funds back to reserve?
Those 1.3 million was really, value view. Yes,
The total cost of the project. Okay, so it's just good, I think, to point out that out of that 1.34 million, that we will be able to put, I forget exactly how much. 300,000 back once, town splits the cost.
After the, invoices get paid and we submit for reimbursements, that's how we reimburse the district.
Thank you.
If I could follow up on that question, that would be a separate resolution that we would have to accept that money as well.
I don't think we have to.
Because you already agreed, we did a shared service agreement with them already, that you approved, had all that out. Now they're gonna pass all that.
Now, if I understand correctly, you don't get a choice, once it comes out of reserve, if you don't utilize it for the specific reason, then you must put it back into reserve.
That's exactly true.
So there is a resolution at the end of the year to put all the remaining balances into reserve, so that kind of goes.
That's part of the, when it goes, that goes back to the reserves.
Yeah, but the money will have to flow through our operating budget.
Correct.
Interim, then once you have it as excess, you can automatically flow into reserve.
That is for sure, but it's.
Because you can't deposit it directly into reserve.
No. It, fund it back at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And we would have to put at least the amount of money we're getting from the town back.
At least.
You couldn't put it less, because then you'd be spending it on something else.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And, I was going to say, looking at this budget, thank you to Damaris and the administration for going through multiple meetings with us to explain them. One of the things that I asked Damaris at one of our meetings was, how do we know, like you said, it flows through our operating budget and then eventually it goes back, and who checks to make sure that it goes back into reserve? And she said that that's part of the audit every year, so, the auditors look at that and the stellar reports that the district has received, it's clear that those are
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?
Yes. Operations, Mr. Cass, would you take us through operations?
Sure. Four items to move under building and grounds. Item number one is that the board approves the contract with Laurier Group, AKA Mother Paving and Concrete, to provide contract services for the Riverview Annex project in the amount of $392,636.81. I point out that they are a state-approved co-op vendor, and they also have done work for the district in the past and are highly rated for the work they've done for us before. Item number two is to award Bob Reisman and Sons, the lowest responsible bidder, to do the Valley View School athletic reconstruction in the amount of $620,875, which was the base bid. Item number three, to approve the purchase in reference to the Riverview Annex project, classroom furniture in the amount of $42,892.60, and a teacher's desk and cabinet in the amount of $5,433.24. Item four is to approve Atlantic Tomorrow for the leasing of a 7503 SP digital copier system for the Riverview Annex project, and the amount of $399 per month, or $4,788 annually.
Second.
I just wanna make sure that that 5,000 is for all of the teachers' desks and office furniture, it's not just one. It's just all, yes, it's not, you know, but, yeah, it's for all the teachers' desk cabinets and the office furniture. Thank you.
Questions, comments? I know that, Dr. Forte went through a budget presentation in his presentations and explained a lot of differences between our original costs and estimates versus what we are voting on today. And I also know that we spent a lot of time with all of us discussing the differences, so thank you for that.
Let everybody have questions, that was great.
That's it.
Much rather have a question where I have time to answer rather than, you know, where I hear it, I have to shuffle around papers and stuff. So, yeah.
But I guess we're doing a really good job.
Yeah, thanks, I think we really, knocked it out of the park this time. I mean, I think the thing we have to recognize is that, you know, none of us are experts at taking over an old Catholic school, converting it into something that is gonna be new for our purposes. So, I mean, I think there was a steep learning curve for everybody involved. So, you know, look, we missed some things, we probably should have done it a little differently, but I think we got here. So hopefully, I think we learned a lot from the experience.
Yeah, I think going forward, probably, yeah, we have to rethink it, and maybe you do have to spend a little bit more money on getting a little bit more detailed report, but probably not to the level of, you know, the cost of $20-something thousand. Maybe like I talked to Mike, and he said, Laura today, maybe there's a way we can come up with square footage. But then again, we know we're not taking over the other Catholic schools, so. I'll try to apply that, maybe to something else.
Not that you know.
Okay, before we.
And most importantly, I would add to Dino's comment that I still think, based upon the additional funds both for Riverview Annex and the Valley View Field, I still feel strongly that they're the right thing to do, and the right time to do it, and between the partnership, between what was negotiated in the lease on Riverview Annex and what was, worked on with the partnership with the township, make both of them financially feasible and appropriate for the district, in my opinion, so.
And I probably should have mentioned this during, the vote on budget, but, it fits here that while we're spending this amount of money for these projects, and we're adding, is it $500,000 to the recurring budget for the annex? Yes, so we're adding $500,000 there, we're doing these two large projects, and continuing to educate and keep the buildings at the standards that we're used to. We've still, considering all that, decreased the
personally, I think would be better prepared, in my opinion. And so, all the hard work, all the hard questions that have been asked, and all the hard answers that have to be given, I think, has helped us grow. I think, frankly, I thought there would be a lot more discussion tonight, but I'm pleasantly surprised that, we all, figured out the answers to the questions, so thank you all.
I got one question. Dino, you said something, or maybe it wasn't Dino, I don't remember who it was, said something about how we didn't go for a detailed report.
I said that.
Okay, sorry, I apologize, Dino. Steve, you said we didn't go for the detailed report. Now that you mentioned that, you are correct, and I think in this case, because the job was so big, that turned around and bit us. But I'm not suggesting, most of the time, I don't think we are undertaking a job of this magnitude, so I don't think we necessarily need a $20,000 report to decide what we're going to do. But in this case, we should have had it, and if I remember correctly, I wasn't in favor of it either, so I think as we have discussed previously, I think the blame that is to be laid for this being such a surprise for everybody, should be spread equally and not applied to any one person, position, or anything else.
I think the good thing is from my conversations with her, I don't think, my takeaway, unless, correct me if I was wrong, I don't feel like anybody was really looking to blame anybody. It was just kind of moving parts, a lot of stuff. I was able to give you an explanation.
There was a lot of surprise on the.
Right, I get it, and I feel like you guys were, rightfully so questioning it, and I feel like everybody did it in a respectful manner. I didn't feel like I was being attacked anyway. I didn't feel like everybody was really blaming me. It was more about, kind of like the comments I started with saying, this is gonna be difficult. There's gonna be a lot of moving parts here. That being said, we probably could have done a little better with not a lot more money, given just a roundabout number, but it probably wouldn't have been, to be honest with you, it wouldn't have been super accurate. It would have been, but it would have been better than where we're at. Like maybe it would have said something like 150,000. Then instead of being 250,000 over, we're only doing 100,000 over, or something like that. So we probably could have done a little better on it, but without the detailed survey that I didn't want to recommend prior to signing the lease, this is just what happened. And we'll take that into account going forward and make sure. I think it'll help too if you guys ask questions too. Like maybe I didn't think of something. Maybe sometimes what's happening is because this thing was moving so fast, I'm just moving forward and kind of assuming everybody understands what I'm talking about without telling them. And I do have a tendency to do that. So really, stop me, ask questions, and we'll all work out as a team. And I do feel like we're a solid team, the whole crew here, including board members, administrators, everybody. We work as a team here, and that's why we've come so far here. We all have to be proud of where we come. Financial awards, Blue Ribbon Schools, social emotional awards. I mean, we've come a long way. So it's not like I can do it myself, the marriage can do it herself. You guys can't do it yourselves. We all work together as a team here, and that's why we're so successful. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Capello?
Yes?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Lure?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?
Yes.
We're just on no
There's,
action.
new business, no action to be taken, correct? And Mr. Anderson, you're up again for personnel, please.
Sure, the next meeting, myself or someone else will be moving personnel items 1, which includes new hire, resignations, retirements, extra pay, salary adjustment, substitutes, assuming we have, some additional substitutes on the list, as well as, the job description for assistant athletic coach, and the job description for district and school sustainability coordinators.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Capello, would you mind moving us through item E for next meeting? Sure.
This is rules, or someone else will be under instruction and programming, moving items 1, attached list of field trip requests for our
regular session, not at the work session, let's just make it a third session.
I guess my question was, Steve, to be clear, could I just get back and just on to, you know, not on to?
I don't think there's any protocol in work session,
Okay.
right? I could be wrong, I think it's just a discussion, really don't even have to.
It's not to be approved, you have to curse, there's some things on there, that we put out.
That's what happens.
I must say, I do like that we cover it because helps me remember what to look for in the next board down.
There's always one, and you're the guy who wants to get out early.
Yeah,
He's the one saying, I turn, now he's like, no, I'm not reading more.
I read fast, it's not an issue.
Sure. For next meeting, we'll be voting on a milk fund check as well as a $500 educator grant from the Air Force Association's Aerospace Education to STEM teacher Jen Mashaki, and two drones and equipment. Yeah.
Dr. Post, is that something that she applied for?
Yes, it's similar to the civil patrol program that they're doing.
Thank you. There seems to be nothing to move under, operations right now.
There is one.
Oh, is it on the agenda? Oh, it's under buildings and grounds, sorry, I apologize, Mr. Cox.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing to move for next meeting. Mr. Cox, would you move us to building and grounds?
I was almost off the hook there, right?
Sorry.
Well, there may or may not be anything to report on transportation under operations next meeting. Item number 2, building and grounds, there'd be a resolution to approve the use of Lakeview School for the ESY and summer enrichment programs for the summer of 2020.
Okay, so, now we are up to the cause committee reports, any discussion items? In that order of matters.
What do you think about more than that, how about, budget and the 2 approvals to move forward on the, projects?
Well, when does it go out?
This Friday.
You, you were thinking when I was.
Yeah, that's unexpected.
Does anybody have anything that they'd like to discuss? Sorry, so I guess at this time, do we have anything?
Yeah, I'll add, I was a part of Reading Across America, and I thought that, Ms. Jamieson, Rachel Jamieson, the review librarian, did a phenomenal job. I was in my daughter's class, Miss Jordan Scrapes, 4th grade class, and the kids were very receptive, and it was a lot of fun, so I want to thank them for the wonderful program.
I think I sometimes forget to mention things that I attend as a parent, but we are fortunate enough to attend Read Across America, and it's a great program for the schools. And, I also attended as a parent, Lakeview's 2nd grade, musical hats, and, congratulations to all the staff at Lakeview and Mr. K, they did a phenomenal job, it was adorable. So, congratulations to them.
Don't forget the lead graduation.
Oh, we graduated, wow, that's been really, yep, thank you. Myself and Mr. Anderson attended as parents, and Mr. Pello, I believe, was there as a board member. And Dr. Pellis did a great job of standing in for Dr. Forte. And Riverview School, yeah, Pello.
Was that?
I said, sorry, we just touched elbows.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got out of that.
You don't touch your face, right?
No, Sandy went right to the back, we went right to the back, straight.
It's almost 14 days,
As my
The handshake.
I love that. Yeah, well, you know it.
Okay, so I think at 9 o'clock, we will open it up to a second public comment. There was someone here to come up and comment, we asked them to sign a name and state your address. Seeing there's no one here, we are going to close the public comment also at 9 o'clock. And we probably may enter a second executive session. Mr. Capello, would you mind leading us into executive?
I
Should we
do.
just mention that
No voting.
there will be no voting, once we come out of this second executive session? Thank you.
Okay, I move to convene the executive session in accordance with section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The purpose of this closed session will be to discuss negotiations. Minutes of this session will be made available to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Second.
Ken, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay. Nay.
You really voting in?
Yes.
Okay, so I've changed my 6 to a 5.
I love that you guys all take the notes and you're our stage, it's great. So we are in executive at 9:01.
Either whether it be online or some other system to continue education and count those days towards the 180-day requirement. The state requires that all school districts are open for 180 days, so these days would count. The one thing is, if you wanted to count, you would have to start at the first day. What they said by what that means is, if they told us today that you're going to close on this day, and you weren't prepared, you weren't ready to do it, you could use a snow day and then open on the next day. So it's not really a big deal. It's just that if you wanted to count, you have to be ready to count it the first day or use a snow day. So Sandy and I have been speaking about it for a while, where we met with the staff today, we've been doing some conference calls, Sandy's been meeting with other key parts of our team. Damaris is doing the same on the operations side. I did ask our attorney to see is there any way we can conduct the board meeting, given our policies, without actually being here. And the policies we have now probably wouldn't permit it, but, so I asked her if there's a way that we could have some wording changes if that's possible, if it's legal, just to get an idea if we could actually do that. We feel pretty confident we could run the district for a month without us, without any day. If you recall, in our personnel, we did change the personnel policy to allow me to hire people on a short-term basis without board approval, which would come into place on something like this. We also talked about what I thought might be a good idea would be that if there was something that was pressing that needed to be board approved, that would get consent of the three committee members to be able to move on something if I needed to move on something, and then have it approved at the board meeting at the next meeting. We can do that through our conference call line, or we use Google Hangout or wherever else, but probably the easiest way is just through the conference call line. We can do that. So we're coming up with a bunch of ideas. We're gonna call the late opening for this Wednesday, and we'll put out the message first thing in the morning tomorrow or tonight, and we will give the parents as much notice as possible, and then we will have our teachers meet to try to discuss how the individual teachers would do and be prepared for a long-term closure. We're preparing for the worst, meaning that no one can come in the buildings, but currently the guidance from the state is that people would be able to come to the buildings, just not the students. But they also say, everything they say is, we don't really know what it would be like, because it's never been done before. You want to chime in on some of that now?
We're just working on our plan, but it would be, one communication system or instruction, like in the classroom. And once we have all of the teachers ready to go, there will be a test run by the teachers putting out to parents, and the parents will have their logins, and they will get a test run too. So we're working on that when we meet in our in-service day on Wednesday.
James needs one. This document is in your report too, if you want to see it electronically. I'm gonna do the presentation now. Just a little bit slow, the same thing. We'll do it, do my best. Okay. Of course, I forgot my glasses, so I can't read it that far. Like this. One thing, if you forget something, you don't go back. You can't walk. I need replacement surgery. Is the soap mics ready?
Yep. And the clicker's there as well.
Okay, so we're gonna review the budget. This is a little bit of a revised budget from the first go round that was presented in February. Just more evolution of it because we have more information from the architects and all the other projects we're trying to work on. So we always start off with our strategic plan because the strategic plan was built to help guide us in how to spend our budget. The things that we're really working on this year, our biggest project, is getting the Riverview Annex, formerly known as St. Mary's Prep, up to date. And that falls under our strategic goal number 4, dealing with facilities. Our district goals for the year were to expand our social emotional learning and mental health program, which we're working with St. Clair's, to investigate and prepare a plan for potential student population growth, which we are seeing a population growth right now, and to increase achievement for all students who are not meeting grade level benchmarks. And we're working on that as well. Our budget calendar, basically this is just something that tells us that guides us on how we're going to present things to the public when this is approved. The official board hearing will be April 27th. At that time, the board will vote to approve the budget, and that will be finalized at that point. Until now, it's all preliminary. So this slide shows some of the things we have to do in technology. We will increase technology staff. Right now, currently at Riverview, there's a 3/5 person. So in the budget is to bring that to a 4/5, to bring one more day a week for a technology person over there. And we also have some money to replace some iPads, disaster recovery replacement, the intercoms for Valley View, some iMac computers for the music lab, our usual Chromebook purchases, replacement of FM systems, replacement of phones, desktop office labs, most of that's replacement. We had money in the budget to hire an additional Class 3 officer for the Riverview Annex. We did this last year, but it wasn't in the budget. We were able to find the money, but we do have money in this year's budget to pay for security for the ESY, our extended school year enrichment program that's being held at Lake in the summer. That would be just having a Class 3 officer there for the times that the school's open. We also have some money in the budget to replace some of the cameras district-wide. These things are going to be funded with reserves. This is a project that we've been working on for a few years. We're getting toward the end. So a few years ago, we found that we have several exhaust fans on the roof that were determined not to either be working or they need repair or replacement. We're getting towards the end of these. Some of them are consultants told us we didn't actually need, so they were abandoned and removed, and then the other ones were repaired and replaced. We also have some money for exterior door replacements at Lakeview, interior doors replacement district-wide. That'll be a multi-year project. Right now, we're actually not replacing them, we are refurbishing them, and we're trying out some different ways to refurbish the doors rather than replace them. One of the things about the old doors we have are actually good quality, solid hardwood doors, just they need to be refurbished to the original doors. So if we can refurbish them rather than replace them, we actually would rather do that, not just for a cost savings, but because we get a better product. We have all the gym district-wide, so we have 5 floors, and according to our engineers, we also have the electrical main panel, the boiler room, that needs to be replaced as well at Lakeview. That's in the report that we shared with everybody from Frederick Perlow. The athletic field, which is a cost sharing with the town hall, with the township. Please refer to the document I just gave you. Everybody has this document here. If you don't have it in hand, you can look it up. It's in the report. It's called Valley View Field. So one of the questions was, why was there such a cost overrun? So the most important thing to look at is if you look in the middle, from 15, you'll see something that says $15,000 down to $110,000. The reason why that's there is because those are the things that were added to the project after we received the budget numbers in January 11, 2019. So the budget numbers are about 14 months old. We received it in late February, so approximately 14 months old. And these things were added on because of some of the changes that we wanted to make. Like, for example, one of the things, and I know Donna was really big on this, I was too, I felt like we shouldn't spend any money on it if we had to have the infields and the soccer field going into the infield. So in order to do that, we do have to move some more earth, because the baseball field will be where the current softball field is, and baseball needs a bigger outfield, so that hill in the back where those trees are has to be flattened out a little bit, which requires some more earthwork. The second thing was, we have some areas that we felt like it was important to add in a set of stairs, some railings, and to replace and repair some of the walkway that's there as well, because the guys are all going to already be there with all their equipment. It makes sense to do it at that time. And we also didn't account for the original plan because we were trying to do it without additional expense. We didn't account for any bleachers. So the bleachers come with a concrete pad underneath as well. The railing, obviously, if we don't do the stairs, there's no railing, so those things are added on. And also, because we moved the softball field where we did, those windows on the signage wing are pretty much in foul territory, but for a lefty batter, slicing one into the window is probably not very far-fetched. So we had to include some window film to protect that. And then again, I see the cost for the bleachers. So if you back out the cost of the project from, comparing apples to apples, from the number of the bid at $620,000, subtract out the $110,000 in additional stuff we added, it comes out to about $34,000 that we're short on from the original budget. And that, according to our engineers, can be attributed to the 14 months from the time they gave us the bid to now, the construction costs. He's feeling that the construction costs can go up. It's just not as much an opportune time. There's more work being done, so it's a little more difficult. All right, the Riverview Annex. The original work that we had scheduled, it did include $143,000 for security. The project what I want to be really clear about is the Riverview Annex project, when we presented it to the public, was really only to get the building into shape to actually open it. For example, roofing, masonry, accessibility, any of that kind of stuff, security. We did not discuss, and we did not include funds in those discussions or in the budget for anything along the educational lines, like to make it more educationally suitable for our students. For example, there's a accordion wall that wouldn't be up to our dental standards in terms of how much sound insulation it would give to the 2 rooms. So we do have in the budget a partition wall to be built around it. Things like that. So those are some of the differences. We also didn't have anything for aesthetics. So in the original budget, we didn't have any money for aesthetics, finishes, flooring, any of that. So I can take ownership of that there was a point where we probably should have, just let me back up a minute too. When I presented this to you in June and July of 2019, we all thought, and I did too, that we didn't really want to spend a lot of money on an in-depth plans or anything like that from EI prior to the signing of the lease. So when we first did it, we only asked, in that report that's in your folder, that's in that folder, there's a report from EI. That report is really only about building skin. Building skin is things like walls and roofs, things like that, not aesthetics, not flooring, nothing like that. So while this procedure is moving on, and there's more hands now in the pot, everybody looking at it, we need this, we need that, this proposal, the one that you have on the agenda tonight, that's in your agenda packet, that's to approve Murray Paving, who's a state contracted vendor, did the work in our office and also did the work at the Valley View Home Ec Group. That is all inclusive bid to do all the work to bring it up to what I think we all feel is a technical standard, which is definitely different than it was 10 years ago. And we also have some of the signage. I know it seems like we might want to have some of the signage, but some of the signage is really to cover some of the artifacts. We really don't have to be pulled out, which we don't want to do, or covered. So we're planning on putting a sign over it rather than pulling it out. And also, I think it would be bad luck to do that, so nobody really wants to do that. Then we also do have additional funds for the furniture. Now, the furniture budget originally was $26,000, now it's $50,000. That's because it's entirely new furniture for the entire building. Now, there is one positive thing about that. That out of the 50,000, can you fix that?
Yeah.
Out of the 50,000, that stuff would come with us. It wouldn't be attached to the building. So we could take that furniture with us and use it in other parts of the school. And then we also have money in there for contingencies, legal permits, things like that. When we originally gave you the budget, we did not include any money for any legal, any permits, and we did not include money for plans and construction oversight, which we should have. And I can take ownership of that we should have added that in. Problem is that number is built off the budget number, and our budget number was so much lower too, that number would have been smaller, but at least it would have been there as a placeholder. So it's important to note that the most important takeaway, I think, to understand why there's such a difference would be the original proposal that we discussed in October and November was based on the EI study that was presented to the board and approved in June and presented to the board in July. If you look at those, it's only related to structural and mechanical stuff, not aesthetics, not educational. And this proposal is all inclusive, getting the building up to what we consider our standards. Now, this budget also includes some things for curriculum, personnel. We have some textbooks. We have a part-time nurse at Riverview Annex, and teacher stipend for Riverview Annex, a full-time counselor at Riverview Annex, a part-time secretary at Riverview Annex, 1.5 custodians at Riverview, a full-time instructional aide that's going to be IEP driven. We have another part-time ESL teacher. We have continuing our St. Clair's relationship with the behavioral program, continuing Uncommon Thread, which is some things that we've done in the past that have been helping us. Then we also have to add in the money for the Riverview lease. And then we also have some other just typical replacement of desks and classroom furniture throughout the district. The next slide shows the actual budget. And the most important slide shows what does it cost. So this budget, and remember, it's really important for everybody to understand. This is a different year than we've ever had. This district has not done something like this before. I have not done something like this anywhere. Taking on a building. So just a little, we do have 2 members of the public, just a little bit of a background. We have money in reserves. That money in reserves can only be used for things that are related to capital improvements and repairs. We can't use any of that for the building. We can do that because that building would now be ours and combined in the state, so we can use our reserves for that. But recurring costs are the big things. Even though I know that's a big number, we're looking at $650,000 to fix up the building to our standards, but that's not really the issue that keeps me up at night. adding the cost of the personnel, the lease, the utilities, any of those things like that that are gonna be recurring. Remember, we have a cap on our budget. So we have to live within that cap. We were given a couple waivers because we do have additional students, and we did get some more state aid. So it's important to note that this is definitely a challenging year. I don't think anybody in the room would say that I never said that before, because I know we've been saying this is challenging all along. And now we're at the point where, what does it actually cost? So right now, the budget as is would cost the average assessed homeowner